you guys, happy Tuesday. So it is Garlinda Price, your favorite agency owner. And guess what? I already made the announcement, but also your favorite general agent, your favorite principal, your favorite owner of Fusion Insurance Group, which is now an insurance marketing organization. We are contracted direct through the carriers, and we want to invite you along on this incredible journey. Do you have your life insurance license, your health insurance license? Do you want to be able to sell the gamut of insurance products and maximize your license? Now is the time for you to partner with us. We're super excited. And we shared a video. I'll try my best to remember to link it here. And it was how to DEI proof your life, where you don't have to worry about if you're in one of those important positions that now all of a sudden is being wiped out or eliminated by our new people in the White House, right? So you don't have to worry about that. But today I wanted to talk to you about, why are people failing in insurance? Why are people coming into the insurance industry just like this, super fast, but leaving just as fast? If I could snap even faster, right? Why are they leaving the insurance industry? As fast as people come in is as fast as they go out. And I want to share with you just my opinion about why that's happening and how you can avoid being part of that statistic, right? So one, I believe it's mindset. So a lot of times here online, people show all the success you can have, which you can, all the money you can make, which you can, but they don't show you how much you lose it up front initially, right? With leads, or just not being happy with where you are, or not getting the help that you need. No one shows you the struggle sometimes that it takes to get it off the ground, right? We all know that when a plane is taking flight, and this may not be a great example, but when a plane is taking flight, what does it do? It taxis on the runway. What does it do first? It has to back out of its parking spot, and then it starts to taxi along the runway. And as it's taxiing along the runway, what is it doing? Sometimes it has to sit still to wait for another plane to take off, right? But what's passing while it's doing that? Time. Sometimes you have to sit and wait until the pilot gets there, until all the crew gets there, right? And that takes time. So then when it starts taxiing down the runway and it's speeding up, guess what? You got to have your seatbelt on. You can't have your electronic devices on. There's some processes and things that take place before you can sit back and enjoy your flight, right? So as it's taxiing off the runway, then it starts to lift off, and it's slowly lifting off, which takes time. And then as it's gaining altitude, what's happening? Your ears are popping. There's some discomfort. Sometimes the plane is rumbling and shaking, and you're like, Lord, let's not lose a wing, right? And it's a little scary on takeoff, because takeoff and landing are the most dangerous times on a flight. I don't know why I'm talking about flight stuff, right? But as soon as you reach the 30,000 feet, or you start to gain altitude where things are leveling out, then what happens? Once you reach that 30,000 foot altitude, they say, hey, you can take your seatbelt off, you can use your electronic devices, you're free to move about the cabin. It all takes time. And so that is why so many people are failing in insurance, because they don't have a concept of, okay, it's going to take me some time to get my contracts. It's going to take me some time to find the right company. I may have to go through several companies before I find home. It's going to take me some time to understand the products that I'm going to be selling. It's going to take me some time to master the script. It's going to take me some time to figure out my business plan. And I believe that oftentimes, right, that's not communicated well, right? And so then you may get with a company that does not have systems. One thing that we're doing today is we're putting together an agent handbook. So that way, when you come on board, you have steps and processes, because there's nothing worse than wanting to know, okay, what's next? What's next? What happens now, right? The only way that you don't know what happens now or what happens next, the second reason why people are failing the insurance industry, is you don't plug in. People don't show up for team meetings. They don't plug in. They don't attend the trainings, right? Because it's not convenient. And so one thing that you have to know is what you're going to sacrifice initially in the beginning to be successful in life and health insurance sales. You're going to have to give up your time. You're going to have to show up and treat this business as if it's a job, right? Most of the time, people don't show up, then they want you to go back and repeat everything that was just said, but we're all adults. This isn't a job. So that's the third thing I want to share with you. Your insurance business is not a job. And I will tell you that the hardest shift to make is going to be from employee mindset to business owner mindset. And you've got to make that shift as fast as possible. Something that can help you with that mindset shift is some books, right? You got to find some books on mindset. You got to find some books on entrepreneurship. You got to find some books on business. 2 books that I think are really great is Think and Grow Rich. And then another book is, what's the one by Robert Kiyosaki? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? And then there's another one by Norman Vincent Peale that talks about the power of a positive mindset, the power of positive thinking. I think that's what it's called. So you need some books on mindset. You got to go from employee to business owner, and you need to do it fast. You need to say, you know what? The only way this business is going to pay me is if I put in my time. The only way this business is going to pay me is if I do the work to learn the processes, to learn the steps, to get my contracts done as fast as possible, to learn the products. Don't wait for somebody to teach you, right? That's the 4th thing, is you have to be self-disciplined. You have to be willing to teach yourself, even though, yes, we have classes and we have trainings, but it's the carrier's responsibility to teach product knowledge. Even though we will do product knowledge training and we will do product knowledge classes, the number 1 job of the carrier is to make sure that you understand how to sell their products to the general public. So that means that you have to take ownership of your business. This is not an employee. I get people call me all the time and say, hey, I would like a job in insurance. Well, this isn't a job. This is a business. And it will only pay you like a business if you treat it like a job. And what do I mean by that? You can't have an employee mindset, but you have to have employee processes. What does that look like? Showing up at a certain time, working during a certain time, doing income producing activities during a certain time, learning your carrier, learning your product, plugging into training, showing up for meetings, and being a viable asset to your team, and then creating a business plan. We help you with that, okay? So if you say, well, my background is I'm coming out of the hair industry, then we say, okay, there's some things you're going to need. You're going to have leads to start. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No way around it. And we don't provide leads, but we do provide access to lead vendors. You're responsible for figuring out what type of lead you want to buy or invest in, where you're going to get those leads from. We're not in the lead business. I feel like that's what makes it messy and hairy when you're working with different companies and trying to figure out who you want to work with, is when they get involved in providing the leads. We're not doing that. We're going to say, hey, here's the lead vendors that we've seen people have success with that you can contact and say, okay, tell me about your leads, and then you invest what you want, and then that relationship is between you and the lead vendor. But what we can do is say, okay, tell me about your background. What's besides hair or the beauty industry? Tell me what your background is in. Who do you know? Who are your friends? Who do you hang around? Who do they hang around? And then we can help you put together how am I going to target and how am I going to reach out to those people? How can I do social media marketing? How do I market to the people in my sphere of influence? Those people that look up to me, right? How do I market to the people that I look up to, right? How do I then turn around and use free community events? Caleb and I have set up at one community event and we got tons of names and numbers, but when we decided to go and become an insurance marketing organization, we have to wait on our contracts to come in so we can reach out to be of service to those clients. But we got at least 12 leads from one free event. We have 2 more free events coming up in March and April, so we can tell you how to get free marketing material and merchandise from the carriers. They'll mail it to you. So when you set up your table, you'll have brochures to hand out. You have business cards to hand out that you can create over on Canva or Vistaprint. And we show you how to put together your marketing plan. And then guess what? This is where it falls apart for some people. Why are people failing in the insurance industry? Because they never start. Right, so I just named to you some income producing activities, right? Free vendor events where you don't even have to spend any money. These are community health fairs. One is a community baby shower. One is a Black community health and wellness event, right? So many churches are having free events. So that means you show up with your gear on. You can order logoed merchandise from the carriers, right? You don't even have to go have shirts made. The carriers have everything that you need. So now where people tend to fail is now it's time to put themselves out there. So the only way that you're going to get from over here, from start to success to finishing well, is that gap right there in between where it's time to get on the phone. It's time to ask people for their business. It's time to call those leads. It's time to participate in income producing activities. It's time to get out here and market yourself and not be a secret agent. Put magnets on your car. Get you some flyers for you to hand, postcards and things to hand, business cards to hand out to people. Get you a digital business card and be willing to put yourself out there. And that is the only way you're going to have success in the insurance industry. I think that so many people get caught up in the hype and they get contracted, they get their writing numbers, which can take about 2 to 3 weeks, right? So when you get started and you say, hey, I got my license, now I want to get contracted. Contracting can take about 2 to 3 weeks, right? Because the insurance carriers, they're doing a whole nother background check. Don't worry if there's anything on your background. If you were able to get your license, you're probably able to pass their background checks too, just be honest. And then so now as soon as people get their writing numbers, I see people just sit there like, what are you doing? You went through all that process to launch your business to just sit there. It doesn't make sense, right? But that's where the hard part starts. That's where the hard work starts. And you need to be with a team that says, hey, come on, this is what we're doing. This is where we're going. And then come be a part of the team so that you can help the team have great success because you're having great success. Because guess what? If you're not successful, we're going to be successful based on our own efforts. But as a team, we're not successful if everyone's not doing their part, right? So find you a team where you say, you know what? I'm not afraid to talk to people. I'm not afraid to sell, but I don't know what to do yet. But if you show me what to do, I'll go out there and do it. And then if you are a field person, stick to the field. Let's say you're someone that loves door knocking, you love going door to door, you love going business to business, you used to sell Kirby's, you used to sell things door to door, and you're not afraid, stick with that. If you're someone that says, you know what, I'm not knocking on anybody's door because I can't fight, that's me, right? I'm a telesales agent, but I'm also an in-person agent. What does that mean? Caleb and I are hosting an event right here at my office where I'm not afraid to present to the general public. So I'm inviting them into my space where I feel safe to say, hey, you guys come over here and let me teach you, let me educate you. And I turned it into a networking and a social event with an educational component, right? And guess what? What if only 3 people show up? It doesn't matter. Those 3 people, every one person that you know knows 3 people you don't. So if 3 people show up, guess how many people I really have access to? 9. Look at God's multiplication. So don't worry about if you show up at a networking event or a vendor event or you do something and not a lot of people show up. Every one person you know knows 3+ people that you don't know. And all you got to say is, listen, I really need to meet some people that have a need for my services. I really want to educate. And that's how you go about building your business. But do not get your contracts and just sit there, right? That's the last thing I'll share is why are people failing in the insurance industry? Because they fail to start. They get the contracts, they find the company they want to write with, and then what they do is they stay on YouTube, and then they get analysis paralysis, hop off of YouTube and get started, right? Analysis paralysis is affected everybody at some point in their business journey. No one's immune to it, right? It's where they look and seek and find so much information that they get information overwhelmed that then they don't do anything, right? And if I'm speaking to you, I'm not putting you down. I'm telling you that we've all been there, but at some point you know enough. You don't need to know anything else. Now it's time to get to work, right? So if you don't have your license and you're interested in getting your license, for those of you that we interview, you interview us, we interview you, and we say, hey, we're a good fit. Then we have a link where you can get your life and your health license for $29 for each class, a total of $58. Or if you say, you know what, I just want my life insurance license, $29, but we're just not giving that link out. This is for people that are partnering with us in business that we're building an empire with, right? And then let's say you already have your life license, right? Then come and partner with us and work towards getting your health license for someone. If you're interested in ACA or Medicare, that's something that you're going to be able to do. But I'll tell you, you will make a great living off of life insurance. But guess what? It takes time. It is not overnight. You got to give yourself grace. That's the last. I did say the other thing was the last thing. This is the last thing I'll share. No one is an overnight success. Yes, you may have some success up front where you sell a few policies, but it's still going to take time. You may go a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks without selling anything, and you'll be like, man, this business sucks or I suck. No, it's just a part of the process of learning. It's just a part of the journey. It's a part of, you got to go through it. There's no way around it. I tell my children this all the time. You cannot go around hardship. You cannot go around life lessons. You cannot go around to get to success. You only can go through it. Because when you go through it, it makes you firmer. It makes you stronger. It makes you have some grit where you're like, I've been through all that. So then if you ever get in a leadership role in business, you can tell people what you've been through instead of what you heard. Right? So I'm going to end on that. I'm Garlinda Price. Again, we are an insurance marketing organization. We have access to several carriers, and we can go ahead and get you contracted with at least 4 of the carriers that we're already contracted with. We're getting every week we're getting new writing numbers for the organization, for the agency, which means then we can send out to link to our partners to get contracted, and we are just so excited. I'll tell you that some of the companies that we have right now that you can get started writing with is United Home Life, United Farm Life, an incredible company. Liberty Bankers, an incredible company for final expense. North American, which is a really great company for term policies and IULs. And then for health, we have National Dental Organization, where we're writing dental and vision through MetLife, and so many more carriers to come. Those are just the ones that we already have right now ready to go, and the other contracts are on their way. So give me a call. That's not all we're going to have, so don't stress yourself about, well, what about this one? What about that one? Get started. Right? You can write with those while we're getting all the other ones put in place, and you can be ready to go to start making money in your business. We will show you how to just follow. We're simple. We have a simple business model. It's not come in and recruit all these people, because we don't want you to do that. Right? Unless you want to, you can build an organization, but you need to know when you're building an organization, you also, what comes with that is the responsibility of roll-up debt. So if you're not ready for that yet, don't start there, right? Come in and get your feet grounded, get your business systems in place, and then build on your own pen. You can write and make great money. It just takes time to get started, and you got to give yourself the time, and just don't be like everybody else failing out of the insurance industry because they're looking for perfection. They're looking for the perfect company, the best lead. It doesn't exist. It's what you create. Okay, it does not exist. It's what you create. So give me a call. I'm Garlinda Price with Fusion Insurance Group, 910-494-7798. I hope this has been helpful to you. It's the truth. And I'm just here to share with you the ins and outs of the business of how you can make money. It is not get rich quick. Life and health insurance sales are get rich slow. And the word of God says that riches earned little by little grow. That's the word of God. And that it's written in the word of God that money answers all things. It just takes time. You have to sow it, water it, take care of it, and you're going to watch it bud, blossom, and bear fruit. God bless you guys. Talk to you soon. 910-494-7798.